Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy! Today I have a piece of maple. There's nothing special about it, so I'm going to not make a natural edge. I just don't see any advantage on this particular piece. I'm going to mount this end up. So I found center, I poked a hole, and now I'm going to drill a hole, a 5/16 hole for my 3/8 inch woodworm screw. Get it mounted up on the lathe, and we'll make some kind of regular old maple bowl. Now this piece is currently about 11.5 by 14 and about 5.5 inches at the thickest point. But a lot of that's going to go away. Probably end up with about an 11-inch bowl, maybe 4.5, 5 inches deep. Kind of a heavy piece. There's a few cracks in it, and I do see that there has been some bug activity. I don't see any bugs crawling around on it, which is always a plus. And we're certainly going to use tailstock support. So let me get my mask and face shield on, sharpen up my 5/8 inch bowl gouge, and we'll get to turning. We'll be turning it at 430 RPM just until we get this balanced up a little bit. I'm gonna sharpen up. Man, I have got to get a smock. But I'll tell you what, they want like $100 for those things. And you might be able to tell that exceeds my clothing budget for about 5 years. But I'll get one. I think we can pick the speed up a little now. Not much. About 620. Well, I see a shape developing here. I think just a real kind of flat side, very large opening at the top. I'm going to sharpen up again. It's pretty hard wood. I need to come up with a tenon on the bottom here. I need to mark out for my tenon. I just want to remove this little nub. Trying to decide if I wanted to go with the bigger jaws or my smaller ones, and I think the smaller ones are going to be just fine. So we'll just work up to that. And I'll do that with a little smaller gouge, try the 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And I can get my speed up to 950 RPM, yippee! And I'm going to switch to a 3/8 inch bowl gouge, not the 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to use this diamond point tool to create straight sides on my tenon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tenon. Now because this top is so uneven, I want to flatten it out so that I know where the top of my bowl stops. So I'm just going to take this square cutter carbide tool that I got from Captain Eddie and just come in straight in here from the tool rest, just straight in about 3 or 4 inches, and kind of flatten this off so that I know where the top of my bowl is. Okay, now my goal here, for no real particular reason, is I want this side to be as straight as this tool rest is. And you can see that I'm coming out in the middle here. So I'm going to try my best to do a nice clean cut or two. It's going to take 2 or 3 cuts probably. And try and get that nice and straight and smooth. We'll see what we can do with a fresh edge on my 5/8 inch bowl gouge. I don't know why this is acting like it's still out of round, unless all the bugs in there are on one side. I don't know. Well, that's not perfect, but it's pretty dang close. Looks like I got to take a little more off right up here. Let's see how straight it is or isn't. Well, come on. You couldn't get a credit card in there. I'm happy. I hope you are happy. You ready for sanding? Me neither. So that's what I'll be doing for a little while. I'm starting with 80 grit, even though I got a pretty smooth finish on here. I'm still starting at 80 grit, work up through 400. Typically I would put a sanding sealer or finish on before I turn it around to hollow it out. But in this case, I'm going to take it off of here with no sanding sealer and take it in the house and microwave it. I haven't seen any bug activity, but I don't want any bug activity, so I'm going to try and kill whatever might be in there. There's certainly evidence of bug activity, no doubt about that. So I just want to be sure. So I'll do all of that, and next time you see this, it'll be turned around and we'll start hollowing it out. See you in a bit. Okay, this outside's all sanded to 400 and it's just smooth as could be. There's something odd going on with this piece. It's still out of balance. The best I can do is about 740 RPM, and this appears to be the heavy spot. So I don't know if there's a big knot in there, or what I prefer to think is that this big split, somebody probably did that in the tree about 100 years ago and shoved gold coins in there, and then the tree grew around it. So I probably have a big pocket of gold coins right inside here. We're probably going to run into that. That's pretty much what I'm expecting. I did take it in the house and put it in the microwave and dried it, and you can see the results of some of these cracks, but they don't go down here maybe a 1/4 inch at most. So I don't think we're in any danger of it falling apart. And I'm going to get my mask and face shield on, grab my 5/8 inch bowl gouge, and we're going to get to hollowing out this maple bowl. Yeah, I just can't get a good angle with the tailstock here. I'm going to have to move it. Just trying to get down below some of those surface cracks. I'm at about 3/16 thickness right now, maybe a 1/4 inch. We'll see if we can get any thinner. Yeah, that's probably about as thin as I better go. I don't want to tempt fate. Besides, we have to compensate for all those gold coins that are just right in here, just a little further. Man, I wish I could get the speed up. Let's try it again. That vibration, see if I can get past it. Yeah, it's smoothing out. About 1,000 RPM, that's way better. That's pretty good. We'll just start working our way down. Starting to have my doubts about those gold coins. Yeah, I'd like to go thinner, but I just don't dare. For those that aren't familiar with the process, you never want to just hollow out a bowl, especially if it has relatively thin walls. You just want to continue to work your way down, you know, a 1/4 of the way, finish this, another 1/4 of the way, finish it, another 1/4 of the way. And the reason is because you need some material left here to stabilize this wall. If you were just to go all the way down to the bottom on a bowl this size and then try and finish it after, like with a scraper or something, these will be vibrating so much you're just going to get ripples. You're not going to get a smooth finish. So that's why I'm doing this in stages. And we're about maybe a little better than half now. And we'll just keep working at it. I probably am going to have to resort to a scraper, and now might be a good time. I've got this quite smooth out here, but I got a bump in there and I can't, well, maybe I can. I'm scared I'm going to go through the side here, but maybe I can do a little more. And it occurs to me I never did find those gold coins, so I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, I'm going to have to use a scraper. Dang it. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's just check. I still have about 3/4 of an inch in the bottom. Over here I'm at about 3/16, well, maybe even 1/8 of an inch, I guess. About 3/16 there, about 1/8 inch out here, so I gotta come in here a little bit more. Yep, that's good. And what did I say, 3/4 in the bottom? I'd like to stop at about a 1/2 inch in the bottom, I think. It's going to be a pretty light bowl, and I want a little weight to help stabilize it when it's standing up. See if I can pick the speed up any. Oh yeah, we're getting there now. Oh yeah. It's about 1200. Yep, about a 1/2 inch. Well, we'll scrape it and call it good, huh? About 1300. Okay, stand by for sanding. So that's what I'm going to be doing for a while. I'm starting with 80 grit. I'll work up through 400 just as I did on the outside. And I'll bring you back when it's time to start putting some kind of finish or sanding sealer on here. Well, I decided to go with the Howard Feed and Wax. I've been pretty happy with a couple projects I used it on. Brings out the grain real nicely. So why not? And it feels so nice when it's all dried and buffed. Not going to be a high gloss finish, just kind of a subtle gloss, which I guess maybe I'm partial to. And this bowl has a lot of grain going on, doesn't it? Now I know that not everyone likes cracks like this one. To me that's a feature. I truly like it quite a bit. And bug holes, there's not a ton of bug holes in here, but there certainly are some. And I know that not everyone likes bug holes. For some strange reason, ladies seem to like the bug holes. Probably not all ladies. I probably shouldn't group it like that, but that's the comments that I get. And speaking of comments, feel free to leave yours. I love reading what you think about my projects, and I respond to all comments. Let's talk. How do you like this finish? Do you ever use this stuff? Looks pretty nice. I'm going to do the outside as well because, of course, I haven't done that yet. And when there are cracks, I know a lot of folks like to fill them, and I have, and I do, but when they're not awful, I like to leave them. I like as much nature in my pieces as I can get. This piece was a little bit hard to sand only because when there's defects like that, bug holes and cracks and whatnot, as the piece is spinning and you're sanding, they kind of show up as a place you missed. So you go over it and over it and over it and it doesn't go away and you can't figure out why, and you stop and you feel it. No, it's smooth. So that just kind of slows down the process. It's not hard, it just takes longer. Oh yeah, this looks real nice to me. So this is going to set for 20 minutes, half hour, something like that, and I'll come back out here and buff it up, and then it'll be time to turn it around and take off the tenon, and then we'll be done. We're getting real close, boys and girls. Well, this sure did finish up nice, I'll tell you. It feels just silky smooth. So we're going to get this turned around, take off that tenon, and what I'm going to do is chuck up a little block of wood that I use frequently for this sort of thing. I'm just going to put a non-slip cloth over that block and the bowl to follow. Still have my center point there for reference. We'll just apply a little pressure, bring up the tool rest, spin it up a little bit, make sure it's running true. Yep, real good. We'll probably turn it about 500 RPM, 600 RPM in the beginning, and I'll grab a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. I'm just going to take my little homemade point tool and emphasize this little ring that's left. That looks okay. Now I'm going to switch to a swept back gouge so that I can get in there a little closer. And we'll go with a 3/8 inch bowl gouge. Actually, I'm going to move my tool rest up a little bit, maximize my support. And I'm going to turn the speed down just a little. Turning at about 400. Sometimes when you have wood that has bug holes in it, or if it's punky, you have to be really careful. Kind of look over your tenon and make sure it's not going to disintegrate on you when you least expect it. And this one might. It doesn't look real bad, but it's pretty close. So now I'm going to slow the speed down to about 200. And I'm going to apply the bottom of the gouge, the bevel of the gouge, against the bottom of the bowl. And I'm just going to apply pressure towards the headstock. Right hand on the gouge, left hand on the switch. And the idea is just to cut all the way through there. When that little nub stops turning, then we know we're through. And the bottom of the gouge is what keeps it up against the headstock. Just about there. There we go. Real easy. Then I'll just take this over and sand it up on the workbench. Well, here it is, one maple fruit bowl in the books. Lots of spalting. There's the finished bottom, turned out pretty good. Wonderful crack over here, I love that one. There's a few other small cracks in it, nothing serious. I think it finished up nice. It's just smooth as can be. I sure like using this finish that I used. That Howard Feed and Wax, good stuff. Nothing particularly special about this bowl, you know, no natural edge, no live edge. It's just pretty wood, I think. Just a useful utility fruit bowl. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly, I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos, about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. If you'd care to comment, I would love to read your comments, and I respond to all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.